Welcome back, everyone, to 1111 with one of our first ever guests who came on the show, Susan Bock. We're going to see what she's been up to, what's transpired since last we had her on, which, golly, it was probably just around 6 months ago. So, Susan, will you remind us all who you are and what you do?
Oh, thank you, Joy. It is such a delight to be back. Again, who I am is perfectly imperfect. I am perfectly me. And what I am doing is making the journey with my clients so that they can have their business that's perfectly for them. It's all about that aligned action and having your business work for you. Now, we talked about aligned action, Joy, in January, and I want to just remind the listeners what aligned action is and what it isn't, because that's important to know. Now, when we are in aligned action, we are in flow. We are connected with our energy and our values and our way of being. We are honoring our perfectly perfect selves. We are honoring that. We are in flow. When we are out of alignment, we are trying to be someone that is not true to our values. It doesn't honor our natural flow and style. And when we are out of alignment, it is a bumpy ride, physically, emotionally, energetically. So when I talk about aligned action with my clients, yes, I'm referring specifically to a business, but being in aligned action in our lives is equally important. So can you tell I'm passionate about this?
You know, when you bring up this thing about aligned action, I'm so glad you brought it up again, because when we first had you on, this was literally about 8 days into the podcast, and we've now done a couple hundred episodes of it. Who would have thunk? And after that, when I was working on all of the other topics and themes, I cannot tell you how often I would find that for whatever the given topic was, how often that idea of alignment kept coming up, how vital that is to your success in any area of your life, whether it's raising children, your career, your relationships, your understanding of yourself. And the fact that you specialize in this, I think you were really ahead of your time. I think people are finally realizing that everything's got to be in sync for it to work together properly. Otherwise, you've got these disparate elements. And I hear over and over again people saying that there's a disconnect, and they're not using that word alignment, but that's what I'm hearing when they say it. Are you seeing any trends about the need to really focus on alignment when you're dealing with your clients?
Absolutely. I am, Joy. And how that is showing up is different for different people. You use the perfect word, that disconnect. We feel disconnected. We are not seeing that alignment with our goals, our values, our vision, our way of being, our objectives. There's a disconnect. It's almost like we're unplugged from what's important to us. And when we acknowledge that we are in that disconnect, out of alignment, that is the very first step to getting into alignment. So I see that having that awareness of being disconnected, of being out of alignment, absolutely is a positive. That is how we begin to facilitate change. We begin to influence not only our actions and behaviors, but those around us as we move into resonance and harmony and alignment with what's important to us.
And I love that you said that, because sometimes when we do become aware, we can feel discouraged or disheartened, like, oh man, things aren't really clicking. But as you just mentioned, that's a really vital step, and it's a healthy stage of things. That's what will enable you to make the shift, is once you realize what's going on. So these are such great points you're making. How have things changed for you and your business since we had you on the show way back when?
It's a continuing evolution, Joy, and that's what I love about this aligned action awareness is, and how I stumbled into it is because I was so out of alignment for so many years in my business, in my way of being. I was trying to be someone that wasn't authentically me. And as I became more and more uncomfortable with that and aware that I needed to make the change, that's what facilitated me into creating the business that I have today, which continues to thrive. because as I become more and more aligned with who I am authentically, my business is flourishing.
When I've told people about your business your way, which is what you do, people always get very quiet when I say that. There's like a pause before they respond. And they're like, really? I said, oh, yes. She's not about telling you, you've got to do it this way. This is my proven system that you've got to follow to the T. I said, oh, no, no. She makes it all about you. She's even got a weekly video that's all about you. And I've seen practically tears in people's eyes when I've mentioned that. They're just blown away to think that someone would be approaching business that way and also, quite frankly, care about them in that way.
One of the most endearing comments that was shared with me is this particular client came to me feeling that there was something completely wrong with her, that she wasn't enough, that she was missing something significant. And that sense of desperation and despair, that lack of self-worth, was just enough to crack my heart open. It was like, oh my gosh, this is not the truth. It might be what you believe, but it is not your truth. And over the course then of the next few weeks and going through the aligned action and the Your Business Your Way, what she was able to come to realize is that she was enough. And I stress that she was enough. She was perfectly perfect for her. And when we could align her actions that honored her imperfections and her perfections, then she was building her self-worth. She had her confidence come back. She recognized that she was striving to be something or someone that was out of alignment with her. And when she had this permission to actually be herself and show up with her quirkiness and foibles and whatever she was, with that permission slip, then she began to really connect authentically with her prospects and her clients, and her business likewise began to flourish.
That must mean the world to you. I
It
can't
does.
imagine. Oh, my goodness. My next question is a toughie. Are you bracing yourself?
I'm ready.
How are you, my friend?
Oh my gosh. The word that comes to mind is I am content. Now, with that, you also know me well enough, Joy, to know that I am incessantly curious. So,
Yes.
yes, I am content, and I continue to be curious about what more is going to be revealed. What more can I discover? What more is there within me that I have not yet even tapped into? So that venture within, that incredibly exciting journey within, continues.
I can't think of a better place to be than both content and curious. That just sounds like a blast. As you know, we always like to give tiny tasks during our episodes. Is there any sort of task or even a reminder that you want to give people today?
A task or a reminder. The reminder is you are one of a kind. There is not another person in the 8 billion people in the world that is you. And you are a gift. You have a unique set of personality and skills and expertise and experiences, and you are only who you can be.
Oh, thank you for that. Also, do you have anything coming up that you can share?
Oh, thank you. I do, because I just finished creating a brand new, are you ready for this? Download for my friends and family and for all of the fans that you have on your podcast. And here it is. It's Thriving on Your Terms. Thriving on your terms. So it's 10 proven principles to align your business and your life with your natural flow and style, so that you are, in fact, stepping in and taking ownership of your incredible uniqueness.
I'm going to go out a limb and say that the next generation, when they would look up in the dictionary the word alignment, they are going to see a picture of you next to it.
That would be amazing.
One last question for you. I know the pod checks are just to be a brief check-in, so thank you for bearing with me. If you could give our listeners a hug, what would you whisper in their ear as you embraced them?
Embrace your humanness.
Oh, at a time that we've got AI and everyone's worried about things being artificially generated, to celebrate the humanness, I think, is about the kindest reminder you could give any of us.
Oh,
I love
thank you. I cherish you, Joy. Thank you.
that. Any chance of us getting you on again in a few months?
All you have to do is ask.
Yay! And let's not let it go for so long next time.
Absolutely. I could just jump here and say, I want to acknowledge you and thank you for being who you are and creating this incredible environment for all of us to be ourselves.
Thank you. And if you have any goodies that I could link to, will you give us some links to put in the description box?
Susan@susanbock.com is my email, and the URL is susanbock.com.
Easy enough, and I'll put it in the description box as well. Thank you again, my dear. Everyone else, have a fabulous and very much aligned rest of the week. Chariste som, everyone. Tuta.
Bye-bye.